This week, we will analyze what zombies have to teach us about theology, eternal life, and the question of evil. Philosophers divide evil into two categories, moral and natural evil. Moral evil is the evil that humans do when they are greedy, cruel, vicious, in short, when they act human. Natural evil is the evil of the natural world, such as earthquakes, storms, droughts, being eaten by sharks and crocodiles, getting diseases. Natural evil is independent of human actions. Are zombie films reflections of our own behavior towards others and the world around us? Every civilization gives itself a central goal or task that gives significance to every individual life. One of the central concerns that early Greek philosophers had was how to conquer time. To conquer time is to conquer death. Without an important central goal, civilization disappears. What is the central goal of our civilization, other than the creation of more weapons, more products, more apps, and trying to land on Mars? Zombies are said to represent our fear of death and decay. In this fear, we create systems of meaning that are designed to keep the fear away. There are two basic attitudes that arise in regards to the fear of death. The first is to say there must be a place where death does not exist. Heaven, for example. There must be another body or soul that does not decay. There must be such a thing as resurrection, where what I am continues to be for eternity. The other attitude comes from Hinduism and Buddhism and claims that reincarnation allows for the continuation of a form of life that is not necessarily personal in nature. What I am does not continue in its present form, but can take on other forms. But the question remains, what is it that survives death? Are resurrection and reincarnation just hopeful ways of keeping the fear of death behind the walls, crawling with zombies? Within the philosophy of religion, theodicy explores the problem of evil. Evil is defined as what is vicious, wicked, cruel, and defective. Evil results in injury, harm, and ruin. Evil reveals that there is a fault, a gap, a failure that may lead one to believe that the world we inhabit is not fully formed. It is as if the world's worst carpenter created it. It is still rough, raw, bloody, and gruesome. It causes us to shudder in horror. The problem of evil was first formulated by the philosopher Epicurus. The argument states, if an all-powerful, good, and all-knowing God exists, then evil does not. There is evil in the world. Therefore, an all-powerful, all-good, all-knowing God does not exist. Thus, the existence of an all-good God and the existence of evil is a contradiction. There have been a number of theological solutions to the problem of evil. St. Augustine argued that evil is simply an absence of the good. Evil is not a thing that exists independently. But this raises the issue of why God could not have created the things that are lacking in the world. Some argue that God allows evil to be done in order to have the greater good of free will. The theologian John Hick argues that evil is a means to the good. We can realize that things are imperfect and then desire to make them better. Evil, Hick thinks, gives us the opportunity to grow. The Gnostics held that evil is due to the world created by an imperfect God. If this is the case, then Leibniz's assertion that this is the best of all possible worlds is absurd. If a world where children are murdered, where billions have been murdered in wars, starved, gassed, and tortured, is the best of all possible worlds, then I would be fearful to see the worst of all possible worlds. For theorists such as Hannah Arendt, who studied totalitarian regimes, evil is banal. She argues that fanatics and monsters did not commit the great evils in history, but ordinary people who thought what they were doing was normal did. Her thesis seems to be confirmed by the experiments carried out by psychologist Stanley Milgram and others. Evil happens when harm outweighs help, when people who can do something don't do anything. In the Lord's Prayer, or the Our Father, there is the line, "Deliver us from evil." I am sure that those in the death camps and gulags and trenches may have said something similar, and yet the response was silence. It is bad theology, I think, to conclude that God is found in the silence of unanswered prayers. A rewrite of the Our Father to state, "Deliver us from the humans who harm us," perhaps might be better. The film The Girl with All the Gifts forces us to confront whether evil is natural or human, and if there is any hope left for humanity. Zombie films make us face the philosophical question, what can be done to safeguard ourselves against the evil in our time?